my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my birth story because this has been a highly requested video. So yeah, let's get into it. I was actually 9 days early. I went into labour 9 days early. I was due on the 2nd of August and I went into labour on the 24th of July. And I went into labour at 2:30 in the morning. So I woke up and I thought they were contractions, but I wasn't sure because I haven't had a baby before. So it was all new to me. And I went to the toilet and I lost my mucus plug. I went back downstairs and I was timing the contractions on my phone because obviously I thought they were contractions, so I was timing them on the Pregnancy Plus app. And then I said to my boyfriend, I was like, I think I'm in labour. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then he literally went back to sleep. I was like, that's great. So I went upstairs and I went into my mum and dad's room and I said to my mum and dad, I think I'm in labour. And they're like, oh no, Chloe, you're not in labour. They're probably just Braxton Hicks. You're not due for another 9 days. Go back to bed. And then, so I was like, okay. So I went back downstairs and I just couldn't get back to sleep because obviously I thought they were contractions, but I wasn't like 100% sure. I was like, maybe they might be Braxton Hicks kind of thing, but I didn't actually have any Braxton Hicks before. And then I don't know why, but I didn't wake my sister up, which was weird. I should have, but I just don't know why. I just didn't. She was fast asleep, but like, so was everyone else. I don't know why I didn't wake her up. It got to about 7 o'clock and that's when I woke everyone up again and I said, I'm definitely in labour, because at 2:30 they were coming every 5 to 10 minutes and they were lasting about 30 to 40 seconds long, and then at 7 they were lasting the same but they were getting stronger. So I rang up the hospital and I explained, I was like, I'm in labour, and they said to stay at home and have a bath and see if anything progresses. So I stayed at home and I was just taking deep breaths, breathing through them. So that was at 7, and then around 12ish I rang them back because they were lasting about 30 seconds now and they were coming every 5 minutes, and they said try to stay at home for an hour to an hour and a half and have a bath and relax, because they said if I went to the hospital my contractions might stop. And they also said to stay at home until they were coming every few minutes and if they were lasting over a minute. And they also said to bring them back. So that's what happened. I did wait over an hour and a half, I think it was. I rang them up and they said to come on in. I went in, and at this point when I got to the ward they said that my boyfriend had to go because of the coronavirus. Your boyfriends can't come in until you're in active labour. So Jack left and then I went in to the labour ward. And I went in, I was using my TENS machine. I didn't mention that, but at home I had a TENS machine and it helps. It comes with like 4 sticky bits and you put them 2 up and then 2 at the lower bit of your back, and they send not an electric shock but it's like a vibration through your back and it helps the pain. It was working for me, which is good. And the lady came to me and she goes, I don't think you're in labour. And at this point I knew I was in labour, but I didn't want to be like, I know that I am in labour kind of thing, so I just said okay. And she goes, I can check you over if you want. And I was like, yes please, because I knew I was in labour. So she come over and checked me over and she goes, actually, she goes, you're 4 centimetres dilated. She goes, we better take you to the birthing suite. So it was a good job I got checked over, because if I said no it's fine she would have probably just sent me home. So yeah, I went to the delivery suite and at this point they said that I could ring Jack and tell him to come in. So at this point Jack could come in. I was actually really lucky. I was only on my own for about, I think it was 40 minutes, and then Jack came in. Got to the hospital at, I think it was about 3 I got to the hospital, and then I was sent to the birthing suite just before 4, and then I got offered if I wanted any gas and air, which I did try, but it just made me sick. But I think it's where I didn't have food when I went in. All I had that morning was half a hot chocolate because I just felt so sick. I didn't have anything else. And I went in and they said, would I like some gas and air? So I said yes please. So I tried it. It just made me sick. And they said to try eat something. I had a little cake, so I tried to eat that, but when I had the gas and air after I ate the cake, I think that's what made me sick. Because I was sick, they had to do a coronavirus test on me because of their policies. They said they had to do it, which wasn't very nice having to have that done when I was in labour, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, because I was in pain, I don't think I really was thinking too much about that. I was more worried about being in pain. And then By 5:45 I pushed Layla out. So I actually dilated really fast. I went from 4 to 10 centimetres in just over an hour and a half, and I pushed Layla out standing up. It happened all so fast. I was literally standing up and I was like, I really feel like I need to push. And the midwife was like, maybe you do. She put some paper mats under me and she's, I think your waters are going to break in a minute. And she literally put it down. I pushed and my waters broke. But before that, she did feel me and she said, yeah, I can feel the baby's head. And then that's when I pushed and yeah, like I just said, my waters broke. And then it took me 4 minutes to push Layla out, which was really fast. And he said, would I like to be on the bed or would I like to be standing up? But it all happened so fast, I don't even think I would have made it on the bed. I literally pushed and she came out. But yeah, I was so lucky with my labour. I had a really good labour, but I did have a really hard pregnancy. I was really poorly in my pregnancy. I will do another video about my pregnancy because quite a lot of people ask how was my pregnancy. So I'm gonna do another video about that. But yeah, I'm so grateful that I had a really nice labour and birth. And when I did have Layla, I did tear where she came out. They said that her shoulder tore me, so I did have to have a few stitches. When I was having my stitches, the midwife said you might want to have your gas and air. So I was using my gas and air, and luckily it worked at this point because when I was in labour, the gas and air didn't work. But luckily when I had my stitches, it did work, so I couldn't actually feel my stitches. It was just a bit of like pulling and tugging, but I wasn't in pain when they were doing that. But they did actually think I might have tore like all the way through, so they had to get a doctor in to check, but luckily I didn't tear all the way back to my back passage, because if I did I would have had to have an epidural and I would have had to have surgery, and I was hoping I didn't have to have that because I didn't have the epidural in my birth, so I was hoping I didn't have to have it, but luckily I didn't. And I went home that night around 9ish, I think I was sent home, and I got to show Layla my family, and it was just such a lovely and wonderful experience, and I was so lucky to experience it with my boyfriend, and I'll never forget it. It was the happiest day of my life, the best day of my life by far, and I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe and comment videos you would like to see in the future. Bye guys, see you in the next video.